Education is not a problem. Education is an opportunity. This striking statement was once said by the 37th President of the United States, Lyndon B. Johnson. And I think that most of us might have also heard of the famous line of Nelson Mandela: education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Life was normal until an unexpected phenomena took over the world by storm. We all saw how the world changed because of the widespread COVID-19 virus. Lockdowns and quarantines suddenly became the new normal. Many establishments have closed down while hospitals received outbreaks. The pandemic caused the world to adapt to alternatives. The sudden outbreak of the virus led to a great impact on me and my studies. This left me to ponder that alternative learning might contradict to what Mr. Johnson said. As a medical student, my journey into making adjustments to alternative online education has never been easy. In the second week of March 2020, face-to-face classes came to a screeching halt when the number of COVID-19 cases in the country skyrocketed. The remaining weeks of the last term of the semester were done in an online setting, forcing students, teachers, and the academic staff to embrace the so-called new normal way of learning. We are living in a never-before experienced time in our generation. It was a sudden and completely unexpected shift to a new mode of learning that no one was ever prepared for. Given that this was still during the beginnings of the pandemic, no one knew for sure what to do and how to cope with the situation. Come August 2020, some private schools and universities were beginning to welcome the new school year. In the weeks leading up to this time, preparations were made, but there were some students who couldn't afford to enroll, and there were some teachers who were being laid off. That being said, it is fitting to say that online learning favors only the privileged. Why? Because while some people have the luxury of working comfortably in their own homes, others don't even have a conducive space to work, not to mention the lagging internet connection. Online learning is already a challenge in and of itself, and venturing it, while in the midst of a global crisis, brings the challenge many levels higher. In the current situation, other students have suffered countless problems because of the alternative learning, one of which is stress. In the midst of the shifted education, some educators assign more tasks, taking advantage of home-based learning, therefore taking a toll on students just to pass quality outputs on time, thus leading to stress and sleep deprivation. More online tasks and requirements mirrors a loaded schedule. The time spent on learning topics, making assignments, and conducting experiments at home takes up almost a whole week, including weekends, leaving students on burnout and exhaustion. This circumstance also limits the quality that we should be spending with our families. In relation to experiments, home-based experiments are superficial, unlike laboratory experiments. It is crucial for medical students to have highly equipped laboratories that will provide quality equipment when conducting experiments so that students may be able to attain intensive understanding. Through my years of education, I have witnessed that every person has different learning capabilities and comprehension. Some might understand lessons at ease and some might have troubles even with just simple calculations. Online learning may be a disadvantage to those that require thorough teaching to achieve better understanding. Aside from these, online learning calls for the need of reliable internet connection. The Philippines being a third world country, our internet is shaky at best, depriving us of smooth internet connection. This keeps us from using online resources to its full potential and causes us to underachieve in terms of class participation. Just like a new kid in a new school, all of us are gradually adjusting into the new environment our school has prepared us for. It's not easy, but it surely doesn't give a green light to the idea of giving up. For what it's worth, our current state is shaping each one of us into someone greater. No amount of preparation can fully equip us in the transition to online learning. Not only students, but the whole administration of every establishment are still improving in order to provide quality service and accommodation. All of these adjustments are made while still hoping for the better. In spite of the mishaps brought by online classes, there are still a few advantages that can somehow ease up the unpleasantries. One is that it teaches us how to handle responsibilities. There are more responsibilities now that we are studying from home because aside from the overwhelming load of schoolworks, A huge pile of household chores is waiting in line. Another is time management skills. It is a mutual wish that students and teachers have to ask for more hours than 24 in a day to be able to juggle schoolworks and household chores and still have time for rest and relaxation to keep us sane amidst the hectic workload. But having time management skills will somehow help us achieve that balance. Time management skills come hand in hand with self discipline. Studying from home is made even more challenging because distractions are more inevitable. The irritating noises, tempting notifications, and the alluring idea of procrastination. Sticking to a schedule is definitely a difficult thing, but important nonetheless. In my experience as a student in the era of online learning, these three are undeniably the most practical. Online classes help us mold ourselves to be more resilient and self motivated. It doesn't only teach us about academics, but it gives us an opportunity to hone and learn new skills that will help us excel in our future careers. Learning in an online setting pales in comparison to learning in a traditional classroom. While there are a lot of things that we can find faults with online learning, we don't really have much to do about it. It's a privilege to still have access to education despite the whirlwind of events that's going on, and it's a privilege that we must use to prevent this from happening again. It's hard to look for silver linings, especially now that we're in a tunnel that we can't seem to find an exit to. But for us to reach the exit, we must move forward, no matter how hard, no matter how uncertain. We rise above adversities in pursuit of an education that is all encompassing and an education that knows no privilege.